Hello everyone, it's Happy, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 best tech tree lines to grind if you want to increase your stats as a newer player. So sit back and enjoy the video. But before we start, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe underneath this video. We're about to start, so grab a drink as well as something to eat, and let's go! Coming in at number 5, we have the Is7 line. However, some people might ask, why the Is7 and not the Is4? Well, the reasoning behind it is that newer players will not have all the modules unlocked, or they will not have free XP to fully grind the Is4 line for free. That's why they're going to have to go through the KV3, KV4, and then the ST1 all in stock forms, and that is just going to be horrible, and it's going to ruin your stats. Therefore, I suggest going through the KV1S to Is7 line because the modules here are much better to play with, and the tanks themselves are mobile and they will allow you to make mistakes at times compared to the very sluggish and underpowered Is4 line tanks. At number 4, we have the T62A line. For me, this is a very good line, starting from tier 6 all the way to tier 10. The T3485 will allow you to learn more about medium tanks, especially with the gun. The alpha is decent, mobility decent, and the armor is trollish for tier 6. Then you have the T43. Of course, the only downside is the low penetration. Same goes with the T44 and T54. However, everything else about these tanks is amazing. In terms of DPM, mobility, and the trollish armor is amazing. Coming in at tier 9 is the T54. It is almost OP. It is one of the best tier 9 mediums out there in terms of mobility, armor, and the gun is mediocre, but you'll have to go through it. And then you get the T62A. But remember, this isn't fully for noobs because it's very hard to play mediums, especially at tier 10, and you might struggle at times. So I suggest you look at the heavier tanks in this list. If you really don't want to ruin your statistics, but at the same time learn how to play the game, I suggest going for the E100. It's probably one of the best tier 10 heavies for newer players. It will allow you to make mistakes, but at the same time, it will reward you because of the huge alpha, and it will allow you to learn how to angle your tanks properly, starting from all the way from tier 6 all the way to tier 10, because all of these tanks need angling. So even the Tiger 1, and then you have the Tiger 2 at tier 8, which is one of the best tier 8 heavies, because of its armor, because to penetrate that front, you really need to spam gold, and that's the only thing there. And you have the E75, it's mediocre, but at the same time, it will again lead your way to the E100. So I think the E100 is probably the best line for newer players grinding in World of Tanks Blitz. Usually for newer players, I would never recommend medium tanks. However, if you really want to play mediums, I suggest going for the E50 line. The line is amazing for newer players, especially the tier 10. They are very well armored, have decent mobility, and have decent guns, and they allow you to do mistakes. That is why most new players should go for the E50M if they really want to play medium tanks. I see so many new players playing the Leopard and then saying, oh my god, I suck at this game. No, you just don't know enough, and the Leopard won't allow you to learn the game properly because it has no armor, it only has mobility, and it has a very good DPM, but newer players can't realize this DPM in game. Therefore, it becomes a very hard tank to play for newer players. Therefore, newer players should play the E50M or the T62 if they really want to pursue medium tanks in the game. Best tech tree line, in my opinion, in the game is obviously the 268 line. Why? Because every single tank, all the way from tier 6 to tier 10, are very good. Starting off with the SU100, it has an amazing gun, amazing mobility, and trollish armor. The SU152 has the derp gun, one-shots everything in sight. The ISU152 has more penetration than the grill at tier 10. It's literally a tier 8 tank with a tier 10 gun. Duh. You just walk up to someone, give him 700 to the face, or 1000 with HE, and then you roll back. The 704 is the most troll tank in tier 9. The sides are impenetrable. And then you have the 268, which is probably the best tank destroyer in the game because it is so versatile in terms of mobility, the gun, and armor, I think nothing comes close to the 268 because of how good of a tank it is. And if you really want to improve your statistics and improve the game for yourself, then I suggest grind the 268. What was the point of this video, Happy? Some of you may ask. Well, the whole point of this video was to show my top 5 picks for you to improve your win rate as a newer player in this game, because many players start off with the Leopard, or they go for the Bat Chat, or they go for the Vickers, and then they complain about their statistics being bad. Of course it's going to be bad. You're playing light tanks with no armor, or you're playing medium tanks with no armor, or you're playing the E5, for example, as a brand new player, and you get penetrated very easily to the side. The E5 isn't as good as the IS7, for example, in terms of allowing you to do mistakes. Same with not very heavily armored tanks, such as mediums and lights. They don't really allow you to learn the game as effectively and have a stable win rate as a new player. If you start with very weakly armored tanks such as the Leopard again, your win rate is going to be trash. Your average damage is going to be trash because it's a very hard tank to play. Therefore, if you grind the 5 tanks that I suggested in this list first and then go for the other tanks, then in my opinion your win rate and average damage should be much better, as well as your skill cap, which will increase a lot more. With that, this video comes to an end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Happy is out.